Good that you're watching to the video only month of the live stream that I want to do every Monday, where we go over the latest gaming news. Of course, I will be live recording some videos that will then later drop on this channel. So if you're like unable to watch the whole stream, don't worry. It will all be good. Of course, we have to quickly check if everything is right, and it is. So that's great. Hope everyone has a great final week, like final days of the year. Let's put it that way. Of course, we have Christmas this week. Merry Christmas if you're celebrating. And then the end of the year and 2025. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy in the gaming space. I'm super excited. Like, normally my January pretty empty. Nothing really going on. This year though, we of course know Assassin's Creed Shadows launching in February. I'm expecting a lot in January to promote the game. I mean, Ubisoft has to do something. We of course have Kingdom Come Deliverance in the first week of February as well. There's a lot going on. It's gonna be very, very good. And I'm enjoying these final weeks. Still making some videos. I of course went on a holiday already in November and a better part of December as well. So I will still be bringing you some fun content. Streams like this, of course, will continue. And then in the new year, when the team is back, so Joyce and Dennis are now on a 2-week break. And then they will be back at the start of January. And then we go full force again with some very cool plans. Thanks everyone for joining already. Time Traveler, The Hidden Creed, Kiki, and Ivan. Appreciate you all being here. And hope you're all enjoying these final weeks of the year, just like I am. I got a really fun sort of show here planned. We can go over many topics. Of course, we're going to look ahead at 2025. One of the cool things is that, of course, I kind of like predictions. Maybe you already know. And what we are really seeing is, of course, that, hey, it's the end of the year. Sure, you can look back at 2024, but it's way more fun to look ahead. So what is going to happen in 2025? So gamesindustry.biz, one of the best gaming websites, in my opinion, that is out there. They every year put up an analyst prediction sort of article. And yeah, it's just a ton of fun to go over what these analysts think. They base their predictions based on a lot of data that we as regular people don't really have. So I want to go over them and kind of focus on Ubisoft as a separate thing, because a few of these analysts have Ubisoft as a certain topic. They expect some big changes for the company. So I think it will be interesting to go over that. I want to one more time touch on the Far Cry 7 timer that not a lot of people are interested in. I think it will be interesting to kind of go over that. Of course, we had the Game Awards. It already kind of feels like old news, but I want to go over some games that were missing from the Game Awards. I think it will be fun to touch on those, and when can we then see them. That, by the way, gives me another idea here. Hogwarts Legacy. So, like this. Hey everyone, good to see Galloway here as well. I forgot to open the Twitch chat. I'm sorry if you were on Twitch. Of course, I appreciate you too. Let me quickly set that straight. Let's go over here. Yeah, we have Ismoon there already. Rumo Tonolo and Pilo Weeds as well. Have you seen the new trailer, a teaser from Assassin's Creed Shadows? Yes, and we're gonna go over that as well. I want to do a quick roundup, the final sort of 2024 things for Shadows. That would be a fun topic to go over as well. And Reddit Venom, good to see you too. Again, we're live every Monday. This is the time. I want to it's 5 p.m. Central European time. We're gonna go over some topics. We'll of course in between, talk about it with you. If you got like any input, drop it. I might include it then in the sort of video that we're recording live. And also worth noting is that maybe at one point, like right now it's quiet, like it's the end of the year, but I think going live around this time is nice because the chances are high that usually at like 6 p.m., so an hour from this stream, usually a lot of like news drops or press releases or stuff. So then in the future, when we are live, we might be able to, like react immediately to some of the news stories that happen at like an hour from this stream. So I think that's exciting. And usually the plan is kind of to go over the Sunday topics. Although to be fair, I think there's not a lot extra to discuss regarding the Sunday topics. So that's why I thought of some other fun things to go over. Let's see. I want to start with that Ubisoft story. I think that's gonna be very interesting. We got Peps Gam in here as well. Heat Wave PS5 says Xbox and Sega could be teaming up with a subscription. I don't know. I mean, if they would do that, I think Sega would just like add their games to Game Pass. I mean, they've already been doing that, of course, with the Persona titles and all that sort of stuff. So, Rich DM Evans say on Far Cry, what of the time is only started when doing the main quest only? Yeah, I mean, we just don't know a lot about the. Again, I want to save it for the topic, but in short, like we just don't know a lot about how it's gonna be implemented. But I think doing it only for the main story, then it kind of defeats the purpose. Like then, it's not that realistic. Like the idea should really be, if you don't hurry up, your family members will die. But I think the whole structure of the game has to be different. Are you hoping AC Shadows will be like Valhalla? The Willowed says. I hope Shadows will be better than Valhalla, to be fair. I really hope that Shadows will make sure that. I mean, Valhalla just had a lot of stuff that was not supposed to be, or that should not have been something that you had to complete in order to see the ending of the game. There were many story arcs that should have been optional. And I hope Shadows gives us more freedom and gives us a way to, hey, if you just want to see the main story, it's 30 hours. Go do that. But there's way more in the world if you want to spend that time. And then it kind of feels like your choice to spend more hours in the game instead of it being forced onto you. And I think that's what kind of held Valhalla back in a way. P. Diddy is saying you sound very Dutch. Well, that's because ik ben Nederlands. So, yeah. Hollow Squad says the next Far Cry is going to have to blow me away. Because Far Cry has been off my radar for years now. I would love a samurai themed Far Cry. Well, damn. That would be crazy. But of course they have Shadows now, so not something they want to do. RoboWizzo says the new Far Cry sounds a lot like Dead Rising. Yeah, we're gonna touch on that. The biggest downfall of Valhalla was the side quest as well. I mean, the lack thereof. Like, all the side content were like these small mysteries. They were fun, but yeah, the big side quests were kind of missing. Jen says, hey Jor, maybe I missed it, but did you share your thoughts about the Game Awards winners? And did you play the Game of the Year Astrobot? I did not really share my thoughts on the winners, simply because I don't really care. It's nice. I think it's cool to celebrate the games of the year, but I'm not like up in arms if my favorite game did not win. I think Astrobot is a very safe pick. I think looking back, like I think overall a game of the year on a big stage like that should be a game that defines the year in terms of that was like a moment. That was like 2023 or something was Baldur's Gate. Like it took the game. It was like a genre that wasn't that popular. That's like the turn-based genre, It was a game that kind of came out of nowhere. Obviously, they did their early access for a few years. People were already like talking about it, but it was really the word of mouth. It was the quality that carried that game. And I think with Astrobot, it's like the moment that first trailer dropped, it looked insane. And yeah, it came out and it was what we expected, and only 1.5 people or 5 million people bought it, and people that played it loved it. But it's not like doing anything completely new. It's not like, I think something like Helldivers and should have been for one nominated, but that was like a moment, and I think really because that happened kind of at the start of the year, people just forgot about it because of course it's mostly like gaming journalists and stuff that are voting on these Game of the Year awards. And also with gaming journalists, they usually tend to hop from game to game because they have to play everything to review it. So that's why a game like Helldivers, that should totally be nominated. And I think Helldivers got one of the biggest reveals at the Game Awards, and they're now back to 100,000 concurrent players. Like, we can be in our bubble with all these single player games, but Helldivers has more players on one day than Astrobot sold in its lifetime. And sure, that doesn't mean that it should be like that should not like disregard Astrobot. But I do think we have to look at the broader sense. I think we will think of Helldivers 2 longer than Astrobot, in a way. Like, Astrobot is just like a safe game, and it's amazing. I played some levels of it. I still need to go back to it. For me, it's mostly, I know what I'm kind of expecting, and I have to be in the mood for a game like that. And I think like something like Black Myth Wukong, sure, there are problems with that game, but it is a game that has made a huge impact on the industry. It sold like 20 million units in a few, or it sold like an insane amount, and it showed other gaming companies that, whoa, if you make a game that is appealing to a Chinese audience, like you can like roll bank, because there are obviously a ton of people there that love games. And first we thought, okay, the Chinese people only like mobile games. And sure, those games are still super popular, but Black Myth Wukong showed, if you make a AAA console PC game, those people will show up as well if it's appealing to them. And I'm sure that we will see, I mean, we're already seeing Asian games and like Chinese games in particular really get popular. Or like those games that are being developed, like they kind of took over this year with the first Descendants, Once Human, Infinity Nikki. Like all those games kind of came out of nowhere, Pale World, and they give people what they are kind of looking for. Crimson Desert next year is going to be huge. So I do think like Black Myth Wukong and that success will mean that more people or more developers at one point will make a game that is more appealing to that audience. And again, Astrobot will not have an impact like that. And again, maybe I'm looking at Game of the Year from a different lens. Maybe it should be the most fun game or something. I'm kind of looking at it from, again, I think Baldur's Gate 3 winning last year makes a ton of sense. That 2023 was the year of Baldur's Gate. It still is like huge. Astrobot was never huge. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see. I don't take it seriously. The award shows are strange. Yeah, I'm like mostly just hyped for the reveals, and they delivered on that. So, Kyle's asking, when can we start pre-ordering again Assassin's Creed Shadows? Like, I don't know. It's wild that they have not opened that yet. Totally get what you're saying. There's at least one level you're gonna really dig in Astrobot, though. Yeah. I know there's like a Horizon level. I saw the Uncharted. I need to play it. I know I will love it. There are just some other games that, again, I kind of know what to expect from Astrobot. I'm more curious about some other games. I've been playing the new Life is Strange. I heard like mixed things about it, but I'm kind of a fan of these types of games. And I just wanted to see what they did. And I'm like halfway through it. So we'll finish that first and then look elsewhere. Is my volume a bit low? Let me check that real quick before we start recording here. I can like Heatwave. I can like turn it up, but I think I'm fine. Let me know if you if other people agree. You sound fine. Thanks, RoboWizzo. Hey, Doc. Demon Souls remake PC port will happen at some point in the future. It's wild that that's not has happened. Like, there's something with the FromSoft Souls-like games where they are just not coming over to PC. I don't know. But there was even, like, when the Demon Souls was revealed, or, like, there was one trailer that even showed PC as, like, in, like, the final artwork for the game, or, like, the final end screen. They removed it, and it never happened. Okay, let's get the show here on the road. Let's go over to our first topic. And it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one, if I say so myself. I'm going to go over here. And then we're going to start. So, of course, at any point, if you have some input, like, let me know. And I might insert it, but I will, be now giving you the rundown of an interesting news story. RoboWizzo, before we start, says, did you see Sony owns 10% of FromSoft? Yeah, RoboWizzo, you have to watch the Sunday video. Every Sunday, we post a gaming news roundup video on YouTube. And I go over all the biggest gaming news, share some thoughts in that. So check that out. And then you have my thoughts on the Kadokawa FromSoft Sony situation. The number one, with a question to round out the sort of Wukong topic. Hey, with the decline of modern Western games, do you think Chinese game studios will take over? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of slowly happening. I even saw that Gamescom. Like, Gamescom usually was Blizzard, Riot Games. Like, if you go to Gamescom now, it's like Genshin Impact, Crimson Desert had a huge stage. Like, all these Asian developers are, like, kind of taking over. Like, Lies of P was huge, of course, as well. There are, like, they are making brilliant games, and they really seem to understand that it's mostly about fun, and it's about making something that people are really excited to play. Western gaming studios are kind of, they kind of seem to approach games from a, wrong angle. And, like, kind of overthink what a game should be. And then they try to convince you to like it. While a trailer should be, it should immediately say to you, you should, like, want this. I think Phantom Blade Zero is an amazing example. Like, you look at that and you're like, I want to play that. That looks insane. It's like the samurais, like, parrying like crazy. It's cool cutscenes. The bosses look awesome. There are different weapon type. It's nothing, like, new, but still the sort of presentation immediately has you like, okay, I want this. Crimson Desert, you see, like, him flying on the dragon. You see the scope. You're like, I want this. I mean, at least that's for me. And then we have, something like Dragon Age or Star Wars Outlaws that on paper should be amazing. And then Ubisoft and EA have to, like, convince you you want this. Well, it should be the game just speaking for itself. And the Western companies seem to have some issues with that these days. Okay, we're moving on. We're gonna go to topic number 1. Ubisoft might look completely different in 2025. Analysts have shared their sort of predictions for 2025. And they are talking about Ubisoft and how, it might not look good. Obviously, we kind of know how we got here. I want to give you a quick rundown of what kind of happened in 2024 to reach this point. Because if you, like, see all these things together, you're like, it's not looking good. And Assassin's Creed Shadows is like, it's an understatement to say that game is important. That game could save or destroy Ubisoft, which kind of wild. So let's get into it. So, of course, the year started with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Got a lot of praise. I love the game. It did not sell well. It was not something that people were actually looking for, a 2.5D Prince of Persia. So they disbanded the team. They did not lay them off. They just, like, move those developers to different projects. One of them is a Rayman game. With Rayman, I'm like, yeah, there's totally knowledge for it, but is that big enough? Like, does that like warrant them to put like 100 people on it? I don't know, man. So yeah, then of course they put out Skull and Bones. Remember that? Yeah, we had like obviously the news. It sold less than 1 million units since release. They are doing year 2 for Skull and Bones. Seemingly the player base they have is big enough. It kind of reminds me of For Honor, that is like in the background still doing relatively well. I do think For Honor is doing better than Skull and Bones, but still, they probably are seeing, okay, we can spend this amount, we get more back, even though that amount of money is not a lot. It makes sense for them to keep promoting the game and, yeah, supporting it. So good on them. They want to do a Black Flag crossover seemingly at the end of 2025 when the remake of Black Flag is expected. So then we move on to the half-year results for Ubisoft. They just weren't looking great because Star Wars Outlaws underperformed. The game seemingly sold like 1 million units. It's not great for a Star Wars open world game. I've said it many times, but it's crazy to me with the amount of like hype and sort of when the game was announced, when people heard like Ubisoft is making an open world Star Wars game, there were people, like I can see the search sort of data for YouTube. People were like looking up Ubisoft open world. I'm looking forward to this open world Star Wars game. People were like running in their minds like, oh, this could be cool because this. It released and it just did not set the world on fire. I think this project has been heavily mismanaged. Like, how can you make an open world Star Wars game that no one wants? That you have to convince people to say, you should like this. No, it should be, of course, easy. It should be easy money. This should have been an easy win. But no, it did not sell well. And then they brought it over to Steam. And you would be like, okay, maybe Steam can help the game. That's like the top concurrent, 2,000, or almost like 2,500. So the sale estimate from like different people is like, they probably sell like 50k max, but it's probably less here, which is not great. I think this like, did like Concord have the same amount of peak or probably lower, right? I don't know, but either way, no, that had way lower, but either way, not great. Not great. So even with the changes they've been making, people just don't really seem to care. I do think in terms of like Star Wars Outlaws, I totally think that it will at one point reach Game Pass. It will at one point go to PS Plus. And then people will pick it up and be like, it's actually not that bad. And obviously they made many changes to already make it way better. But yeah, that's not like they won't be making a lot of money on it. This is like they lost 100 million, $200 million. Like they have to pay Disney as well. So I really think this was one of the biggest flops in Ubisoft history. Maybe Skull and Bones is bigger. Either way, not good. This should have been an easy win. How can you stumble an open world Star Wars game? So yeah, their stock has been going down. This is like the last 5 years. It was kind of like the peak over here. After Valhalla, of course, Valhalla was huge for them. So then it was like at 84 euro. And now, 4 years later, we're at 12 euro. That's like an insane decrease. This year alone has been like insane. So yeah, the valuation of Ubisoft, it has diminished. To make matters even worse, of course, in the summer they launched X Defiant. It was like the fastest growing Ubisoft game when it came out. But yeah, it did not matter. There's nobody really. They were not able to sustain it and have people be interested in checking it out. The game launched with like many issues. Hit registration, one of the most important things for a shooter like this, just did not work out. So yeah, they said, okay, we're not doing this game anymore, and they laid off basically a lot of the people that worked on it from the San Francisco studio, which was like the lead team, and also Osaka. So they will basically close. Some of the developers, I think, will move on to other projects. But yeah, the studios will be no more. And also at the Sydney office, They basically laid off in total 300 people. At the grand scheme of things, 300 for the like 19,000 Ubisoft has is not a lot. But it's still, yeah, it's not good. Usually when something like this happened, like with Prince of Persia, they actually move them around. Here they were like, San Francisco, super, super expensive. Let's just close it down. So RIP X Deviant. Ubisoft, if you think about it, which is kind of crazy, they have not launched a successful free-to-play game. That's crazy. That's crazy for like a huge studio like that. So I want to basically wait. Because there's... So now I want to move over to the analyst. So this is the situation that we go to. Let's see. Whoop. Let's see. So now we're over here, over at gamesindustry.biz, one of the best gaming websites out there. We'll leave a link to this article as well. We have some analysts. They reached out to them, so they're working at like research companies. They are basically hired by publishers or something to be like, what is going to happen in the industry? They have like a lot of data. They look at a lot of different things. So it's super interesting to hear what they think the future will hold. And then we like search for Ubisoft here. Some of them have thoughts on what will happen with Ubisoft in 2025. So let's look at here. Ubisoft acquisition, privatization, I think, or dismantling. Ubisoft itself is at a critical juncture as financial struggles and operation missteps have severely impacted its stability. Its market value has been halved in 2024, falling back to the levels not seen since 2015. The poor performance of releases such as Star Wars Outlaws, X Defiant, and Rainbow Six Extraction, combined with the delay of a key franchise like Assassin's Creed Shadows, have exacerbated the company's challenges, leaving investors and fans incredibly delusioned and calling for substantial change. Disillusioned, I should say, and calling for substantial change. Acquisition or privatization appears increasingly likely. Tencent, a major shareholder in Ubisoft, is the leading candidate for a buyout, though its future M&A strategy remains unclear. Privatization could shield Ubisoft from the pressure of the public market, offering a chance for a comprehensive strategy or strategic overhaul. However, both parties risk partial or complete dismantling, as a new ownership may choose to streamline operations by selling underperforming studios or core or non-core assets. So basically, if Ubisoft would to go private, they don't they have no share anymore. So right now they have the investor calls, of course, and the investors are like, "What is happening? I invested at the start of 2024, and now my money is worth half of it." And if they go private, yeah, that's their own problem. Like, they, of course, have their revenue and stuff like that, but they don't have outside people who are investing in them, which could mean that they could maybe, that they had a bit more leeway and they don't have to maybe focus on things like the blockchain or something, because if you say blockchain or Web3, obviously those things have not really helped. But when, like, NFTs, another thing, those keywords make investors happy. They're like, oh, you're looking into that? Okay, maybe I will invest more into your company, because they think that that's the future. Well, obviously, that does not turn out to be the case. Here we also have Ubisoft will radically change. I hope I'm wrong on this one, but I see Ubisoft closing studios and cutting staff at a significantly larger scale next year. In my view, Assassin's Creed... Oh. I hit a button on my... I hit a button on my mouse, and I'm not sure what happened, but seems like it closed the window or something. Okay, that never happened before, but here we are again. So yeah, Ubisoft will change radically. I hope I'm wrong on this one, but I see Ubisoft closing studios and cutting staff at a significantly larger scale next year. In my view, Assassin's Creed Shadows will get solid reviews and sell okay, but not enough to make Ubisoft continue business as usual. Ubisoft at the end of 2025 will look a lot different from now. Woo! That's kind of crazy. And then we have another one here. What will happen to Ubisoft? I think it depends on the performance of Assassin's Creed Shadows to an extent. A strong performance could change the leverage different parties have in discussions to take the company private, which may delay any change in the company's position. So, yeah, basically, Assassin's Creed Shadows is insanely important. And that's crazy to me. I mean, on one hand, it makes sense, but I mean, we always, when there was like an other critical point in the Assassin's Creed sort of franchise history where a game was really important. And that was after Syndicate, of course, Unity. It performed pretty well, but it like kind of put a mark or like a scar on the franchise where that game was just not ready or very ambitious when it came out. And it did not evolve the franchise enough after yearly releases. Like, the games kind of felt samey. Of course, we look back at Unity as like a more vaunted experience, but when it came out, it hurt Ubisoft badly. Of course, the meme with the guy with the eyes went crazy, and there were many other issues with the game. So then they were already working on Syndicate, so Syndicate came out a year later. But instead of like launching another game the year after Syndicate, they actually took a year off for the first time since Assassin's Creed 2. And then they were like, okay, we have to reinvent the wheel. And then they went with Origins, an RPG more like The Witcher. And that worked out for them. But I remember also around Origins that like the Ubisoft people were very, very hesitant and kind of scared. Because if Origins did not work, then their like key franchise was not in a great place anymore. After what, like they could always rely on a yearly Assassin's Creed release to sell very well, but after Syndicate did not sell well. It's the only game on the PS4 generation, only Assassin's Creed game on the PS4 generation that did not sell 10 million. And so yeah, Origins was super important, but that had worked out for them. Origins was more successful than I think they maybe anticipated. And then Odyssey did not start as strong, but also turned out to be the second highest grossing Assassin's Creed game. And then Valhalla got even bigger. But now Shadows doesn't have to compete with Valhalla being the biggest. Like, Valhalla made 1 billion in revenue. So it doesn't only have to compete with that, but it also has to save Ubisoft, because all their other businesses are not working. Only Rainbow Six Siege is bringing in cash. And Rainbow Six Siege has already been, like, without Rainbow Six, Ubisoft would already be disbanded. I don't know, like, that would not be great. But Rainbow Six Siege has already been, like, saving Ubisoft from many failures. And now Assassin's Creed kind of has to do it as well. And to be fair, like, if we go to my my channel here, there is hype for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, I'm posting gameplay videos and they're doing super well. Like, it shows you that people are interested, and I think their approach, like the delay, even though it would have, like, they're missing this super crucial holiday period where if Assassin's Creed Shadows came out in November and was good, I think that would have been like insanely lucrative for them, because there's not a lot of competition right now. I'm kind of usually in November and December, I'm like, I'm not sure what new game to play, and now I'm like, I'm gonna play Indiana Jones, I guess. That looks awesome. Let's give it a shot. But yeah, usually you're drowning in games. And yeah, now they're moving to February, which is like crazy in terms of new releases. But yeah, my point is, and of course views are not the biggest thing, but it does show you, like, right now, what I'm really seeing is that pre-launch is, like, usually people just get excited about a game when it's very close. And what I'm seeing with Shadows is that ever since they revealed the game, people have been interested in it. So I do think it will probably do well. Of course, it also has been the worst sort of rollout pre-launch ever in terms of like the negativity around how they're handling some of the Japanese stuff. Obviously, people don't like the protagonist in the game. So, yeah, it's still kind of a coin flip how it will go. But I think if the game is solid, if it's like, if people play it and they're like, yo, this is actually really, really good, I think that will be huge. Because people want this game to be good. Right now, they just don't believe. And, yeah, of course, like a good game has to, yeah, can change that. So yeah, I just wanted to like stress how important Shadow seems to be, and these analysts are saying that as well. Because if it's like a 1 billion revenue after a year, like Valhalla, then they're back in the like then X Deviant failing, and those other games, it doesn't matter because Shadows had this huge profit, and that's kind of what we're seeing with other publishers as well. It's one or two big franchises that are kind of keeping them afloat. Take-Two has not released a big game since Borderlands 3, if you think about it. That like made them a ton of money. They're still in the green, or like they're kind of losing money, but they're spending a lot on their new games. But basically, they're still doing fine because of GTA Online and GTA 5 and NBA. And that's what's kind of keeping them afloat. So, Ubisoft only relying on Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six, that would not be a weird situation to be in. But yeah, if it of course doesn't go well, then yeah, it will be Tencent likely coming in and saying, yo, this can't go on any longer. We're going to buy the whole thing. And they even said that, we are... Ubisoft has noted in recent press speculation regarding potential interest around the company. It regularly reviews all its strategic options in the interest of its stakeholders and will inform the market if and when appropriate. The company reiterates that management is currently focused on executing its strategy centered on the two core verticals, open world adventures and gas native experiences. And that's kind of crazy. Like, they're focused on these two things, and they're just not doing well on open world adventures, Star Wars Outlaws being a huge flop, and games as a service native experiences, X Deviant shutting down. Like, so basically the two things they focus on, they're not really doing well, apart from Rainbow Six. And of course, Assassin's Creed could be their win in the open world adventure. But yeah, to round it out, like, basically Tencent wants to come in, change a lot of things, but the Guillemot brothers, that of course founded the company, with Yves Guillemot of course being the CEO, they want to like stay in control. But what would change if it's the same people running this and which has led to the situation we're currently in? Like, why would a company be like, yeah, I'm gonna buy you guys up, but nothing is gonna change? Like, that doesn't seem like a good strategy. And yeah, basically, here we have the internal memo from Eve. I want you to know that all my energy is focused on finding the means to guide Ubisoft through this turbulent times. I'm working tirelessly with my team to identify the best solution so we can maintain control of our destiny. So basically, if it's up to Ubisoft, they just want to continue like they've always done, and they hope that their bets on Assassin's Creed, with like releasing a new game every year or maybe more games per year, is gonna help them. Like, I don't know. It will be interesting. Again, Shadows will be super important, but I'm curious if, like, similar to the Destiny situation with Bungie, like, Final Shape was super important for them, but even that did very well, and that did not stop them from laying off a lot of extra people. This might be the same for Ubisoft, but they want to try at least. They want to keep going, and to be fair, their bets that they've been making on Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, like making that more of a platform, it still has not come to fruition. Like, they have been talking about the Animus Hub for Assassin's Creed for such a long time, but it's still not out. So we don't know what the plans they made 5 years to kind of turn their business around, if those would be working. So I hope we still see that. And if that doesn't work, come on, guys, it's time. It's time to change. And yeah, that would sadly mean that there will be a lot of layoffs. Ubisoft will be sold soon, says Summit. Assassin's Creed Shadows speaking to me through its trailers. Yeah, the Hidden Creed. Again, it's looking great. I just don't know how much they like what they expect. I hope they expect a lot. I personally don't think Ubisoft will go bankrupt because the French government will bail them out. However, what I see is a major shift in the company's decision, hopefully for the best. Yeah, the number one. I mean, something has to change, and they are. It's always been weird that Ubisoft is like 2 times the size of Take-Two and EA, and Take-Two and EA make like 5 times more money, or like 3 times. Like, they're not running a good business. And again, having that Prince of Persia, that super talented Prince of Persia team, go and make Rayman, like it's like you're not learning. Like, and there's maybe too many, and that's the sad reality. There are probably too many developers at Ubisoft. Like they now have like 10 Assassin's Creed games in development because they need to, like, they are always looking at these developers and they want them to work on what is probably going to make them the most money. But at one point you reach a ceiling. Like, you can't just churn out an unlimited amount of Assassin's Creed games, and maybe by doing that it will hurt the potential of the titles that could be really big. So yeah, it's crazy. Hey Sumaya, good to see you as always. They also picked a horrible time to release it. Yeah, it's not great. It is not great. JorRaptor, or do you know if Assassin's Creed Shadows will get a Season Pass or DLC at launch? Well, Kyle, they will not have a Season Pass anymore, but we know there will be at least 2 expansions, and the first one will be free if you pre-order the game, and the second one will likely launch at a later date. Totally get what you're saying. There's at least... Okay, I think we kind of have... I think it is the overhire from the pandemic, and now no one knows what to do. They've always been big, but that's mostly because they are in certain like countries where the government is really promoting game developers. Like, they're getting a lot of like money from governments to hire people and put them to work in the gaming industry. So it is like leveraging, like they're kind of leveraging that, but it does mean that they are super big, and you have to be agile in this industry as well. And Ubisoft recently has just been chasing trends. And yeah, then you're too late. You are too late when you start working on a new extraction shooter when one is popping off, because yours will be ready in 4 years, 3 years. Then the whole trend might have died down. And then you have like 3 years of work from hundreds of people for nothing. That's just what happened to many of their... Like, all the bets they made have not been paying off. It's still Rainbow Six and Assassin's Creed, just like 10 years ago, that have been like successful for them. And in between that, some Far Cry games, Ghost Recon Wildlands was great for them. But what else? It's nothing. Is the AC1 remake still a thing? Hey, 53 Nights. Yeah. Or at least we never like had firm confirmation, only that they are working on multiple remakes. We know one of them for a fact is the Black Flag remake. It seems perfect to launch the AC1 remake at the 20th anniversary in 2027. I think that's likely gonna happen. But while the Black Flag remake has been basically as good as confirmed, the AC1 remake is more just speculation that just makes a lot of sense to do them. No shot AC Shadows is better than Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, I think it will be different. It will be... I do think Shadows will have better elements than Ghost, but maybe people will prefer Ghost over Shadows. But I don't think we should underestimate Shadows. It's being made by the Odyssey team. Odyssey, like, is huge. That game is bigger than Ghost of Tsushima in terms of like how many people played and loved it. So I really would not rule out that team. And we are already seeing like a ton of like the stealth in Shadows will be way cooler than in Ghost of Tsushima. With the sort of elements they're doing. We just still have to wait and see how, if all the things they're talking about are actually coming to fruition in Shadows. But saying that Shadows won't be better than Ghost. I do think if I do a poll 2 months after Shadows releases, and then I ask people, do you prefer Shadows over Ghost? I think maybe more people will prefer Shadows over Ghost. Also in terms of like the narrative, I think maybe not like the whole story, but I do think the sort of quest and things you encounter in Shadows. There were like a lot of like things in Ghost of Tsushima, and that was like for it being like the first game in the series, very fine. The amount of like you only had the katana, obviously. The conversations were just the camera zoomed out, and yeah, you could not almost like see the lips move of the character. Like it was not really cinematic or anything. I do think Shadows will have a better presentation in that regard. And they are using the sort of world, like the seasons. Sure, like Ghost looked amazing, but it seems like Shadows will look amazing and actually use those changes in the world through the seasons in gameplay as well. Where, yeah, if a lake is frozen, you can cross it, or in the summer, you can swim in it. Like, small things like that, I think, could be really cool. Again, on paper, we have to see how it shakes out. Okay, now it's time. It is time to talk Far Cry. Or actually, I'm gonna ask you: would you prefer like the Far Cry topic, so on the timer, or would you want the looking at more predictions from these analysts? Darcy is saying, what do you think will happen if to AC if Shadows underperforms? Will Ubisoft hold production on Hexay and future titles? No, I think they will. Again, like, there will be a company that probably takes them over, or they will spin off their assets. I don't think they will spin off Assassin's Creed. Like, it would actually be, if your company is not doing well, holding production on a big title that will make money in the near future is like the last thing you want to do. So I think it actually makes Hexay way more important for them, because that is like one of the things they have in the next 5 years that will likely make a ton of money. So no, I don't think it will halt production on at least the big Assassin's Creed games, but maybe smaller titles like a co-op game they had in development, or I don't know, they wanted to do like a one with 3 settings, which sounds cool, but maybe it wasn't working for them. So I think they have like a list of all the games they have in development for the Assassin's Creed franchise. They will not cut the mainline titles, but maybe be like, okay, this smaller game that will do well or not, we will see. Like, they have a Fall Guys inspired Assassin's Creed. Maybe they're like, okay, we're canceling that and putting those developers on Hexay to make sure that will like deliver on all the things we need. So that is probably what will happen. I don't think they will halt production on a game that will potentially sell tens of millions of copies. Far Cry, okay. Assassin's Creed Jade could have made them a lot of money, sure. But for some reason they're waiting on it. Okay. I'm gonna insert some comments that I had from people, which is gonna be funny. Boopity. Okay. Boom. Let's see if I can like find a more fun one. Okay, let's do it. What happened to the raptor guy with the sunglasses? Kill us, who do you mean? All I'm thinking of is like a profile picture I did once. The raptor guy with the sunglasses. Okay, let's do the Far Cry stuff. Whoopie-doo-poo. You likely saw the news that Far Cry 7 will have a 24-hour real-life timer, which will have like 72 hours in-game. Let's do that again. You maybe heard the news that Far Cry 7 will have a timer, which means that you need to complete the game in 24 real-life hours, which would be 72 in-game hours. And I saw like many comments under my Sunday video and the Far Cry video I did here, saying, for example, if Far Cry 7 is on a timer, it will be the first Far Cry game I don't play. I usually look forward to getting the platinum for each installment, but that can easily change. Okay, that doesn't sound great. I hate missions with time limits, so I will absolutely hate an entire game with a time limit. Ubisoft better rethink their plans on that one. I saw many comments like that. I want to show more comments in a moment because some have like thoughts on how this could work. But let's first go over the news once more. We go to Insider Gaming, link to their article in the video description. So they spoke with Ubisoft developers who are actually working on Far Cry 7. Speaking with sources, it's understood that the next entry to the series will be a non-linear story, with the story being centered around rescuing the player's kidnapped family. It was said that the game's plot revolves around a wealthy family that has been kidnapped by a conspiracy group currently called the Sons of Truth. Again, the name could still change. While exact, finite details are subject to change due to the game's stage of development. It was said that the premise of the campaign is for the player to rescue their entire family within a specific time frame. Currently, the current in-game timer stands at 72 hours or 24 hours in real time. But the timer can be paused when the player enters one of their safe houses, it was said. So, probably like in Far Cry 6, you had these sort of safe areas, these camps, where you would see your character in third person. Probably when you just walk around there, the timer won't move. And we also learned from a new rumor that the main character basically has a watch, and that shows you the timer. Far Cry 7's non-linear story means that the family members do not need to be rescued in order, and some family members can be killed, which has an impact on the story. While details are still a little murky, it's understood that the goal is to take down the Sons of Truth, and in order to complete the game 100%, you will need to rescue all your family members safely. To find your family members, it was said that Far Cry 7 introduces a new interrogation mechanic to the game, which doesn't necessarily mean that you will get the information you need from the enemy. Sometimes the enemy will give up information, sometimes they will lie, stay quiet, or even sometimes escape. So really like LA Noire vibes from that, which could be cool. And of course Ghost Recon had that sort of intel system as well, but that was kind of boring. You would have an enemy, like you would like put a gun to their head and then be like, tell me about it, and then they would just give you the information, and you got a marker on your map and you would go there. So yeah, again, we have comments talking about this. I will not buy the next Far Cry game if it's like that and if it's mandatory or I fail. No thanks. Then we also have this one. I'm busy. I have a business and a family. I play single-player games as an escape at my leisure. This timer thing isn't going to work for me. I'm out. I think, obviously, hearing the idea that in a game like Far Cry, where it's mostly about, like, all the trailers, usually the first trailers are like, you see a guy with a gun or a girl with a gun and a huge open world in front of you, and it's like, yo, do what you want, it's up to you, you can go right, left, you will see an explosion there will be an enemy attacking you, you will get hit by a car, and there are like crazy things, of course, that can happen in the game. But the fact that there's like a fishing activity, the fact that you can like choose at any moment what to do and get lost in sometimes like this tropical world, or the settings are always like fun to explore, of course, is nice. But I get that if you have this sort of this timer constantly in your mind, you should, I mean, that's what we're kind of thinking here, be like, okay, I want to do this side mission, this person needs my help, or I want to check out this cave that I like found, but I'm on this timer, and if I don't go to, I don't know, my daughter or my sister or something like that in the next hour, she will die. So that is kind of probably the thing that we're all thinking is probably going to happen. And I agree, that doesn't sound great. And if you play games to relax, especially like you have the people that love the competitive games. I'm always I'm not really a huge fan of them. Like sometimes I do, but mostly I play games to relax, so I don't want to be like worried about the leaderboard or reaction and all that sort of stuff. I want to just take my time, take in the world, and take out the enemies at my pace. But yeah, so for a game like Far Cry, it might not work. We of course have had this before, which is like Dead Rising. That the game also has a 72-hour limit, which the player will have to complete the story within before the time expires. But as this like Steam page notes as well, worried about the time limit? No need. Basically, what they're saying is, when you fail main case, just keep playing. Kill psychopaths, rescue survivors, search every nook and cranny, experiment with the game mechanics, level up a lot, blah blah blah. You will then get an ending, but not the best ending. But it is one of the endings that you can only get by doing this anyway. But then you can do like a second playthrough, and that will be much easier because you can 100% focus on the main story and stuff you haven't done the first time around. Your levels carry over. So that could be like one of the ways they are basically, for one, making the game way more replayable. But they could be like, okay, so first time you enter Far Cry 7, you can still do what you want, but know that there is this time limit, and at like 12 real hours, people might die, because I really hope that they have like this sort of timeline for stuff that happens at every hour in the game, and that maybe your sister is at a random location between the first hour and the 5th hour of your playthrough, but then at like hour 5, they move her to like another location. So I might tell you, hey, you have to go there to rescue her, and then you go there, but because you're later in the game, she's not there anymore. I think those things could be really cool. And then, yeah, you fail. But that's kind of part of the game experience, maybe, where, yeah, you make mistakes in your first playthrough, but then the second time you enter the game, you have played the side content, you kind of know what to look for. Okay, I'm not going to bother with that. Now I'm really going to focus on rescuing my family because I know where they are. And maybe that could be like a fun twist. Like, what we really saw with Far Cry 6 is that that formula that started with Far Cry 3 was great. It worked. And Far Cry 5, like, they all had some twist. Far Cry 6 just did not do a lot to change the formula and to introduce enough of new mechanics to make that exciting enough for people. So they have to do something different. And that's why I'm like kind of, not maybe applauding is the right word, but I'm interested in this. Sounds different enough to like, they don't want to like change too much. Of course, another thing of the rumor is that, yeah, they're adding more movement mechanics, which seems like a logical step that a lot of first-person games do. You can vault, you can run, slide, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it was already in the game, but basically you have more movement freedom than in the previous Far Cry games. But that's not enough. Like, that feels like a logical step. Having a twist like the timer, and I just think that we have to see how they implement it. I agree, having this like thing breathing down your, basically constantly being stressed because you're like, but maybe if you are like, okay, my first playthrough, I'm just gonna see what happens, but then the second playthrough, I'm gonna like get, so maybe you're not supposed to finish the game in one playthrough. That's what I'm kind of like getting at here, which could be interesting. And then we also have this comment that I wanted to show you here. I think the only way this could work is if the whole game and map is designed around it. You can't put a stopwatch in a normal Far Cry game telling the player you need to get back to the main story or your family dies. That would be dumb and an annoyance. that doesn't add anything. I think it has to be designed like you can go anywhere in the map and still progress the story. There are multiple ways to achieve your objective. In that way, you could combine the urgency with the freedom to explore and have it a very replayable game. So basically, by doing this side content, still like you're rewarded for exploring because maybe you find intel about your family that you otherwise would have missed. So it's not that you have this marker on your map that says go here to complete the main story or like do a main story mission. It's more like everything you do, all the side content maybe helps you save your family member. So you don't have these super scripted main missions, maybe only a few of them, but apart from that, you're like completely free to do what you want, and everything you do gets you closer to the goal of saving your family. Again, that's another, I think, very interesting comment here from Mr. Haas, which could also make things more exciting. Dead Rising and Deathloop mixed. Again, Deathloop, of course, was also about repeating the cycle. Of course, those cycles were very short, but I think that was an interesting idea, and maybe they are kind of looking at that as well. And they were always looking with Far Cry to make that game more replayable. And like some games like Far Cry 5, basically if you completed that, if you did all the camps, there were no enemies in the world anymore. It was like empty. So yeah, then you would drop it pretty fast. And they, of course, in New Dawn introduced the expeditions. In Far Cry 6, they had these other types of expeditions where you would go out to a different part of the country, basically. Or I think in New Dawn you would actually take like the helicopter. I think in Far Cry 6 you would like take the cab, and you had these replayable missions. So they were always looking at ways to make the game more replayable. And yeah, this timer, implementing that in the main game, could be a way to do it. And having the timer for campaigning doesn't mean you won't be free to explore after it. That's another great point, Jay Forian. Yeah, so it's just that people don't want to be told what to do. I think that's kind of the main issue here. And yeah, that could easily be, maybe you want to explore the game immediately and not after the main story. In every Far Cry game, you can focus on the main story and then explore afterwards. But with a timer, it might mean that you're kind of forced to only do it that way, even if you want to complete every region and then move on to the next. Rumo To Nolo says, this is very exciting for me. I'm glad they're making a game that is not for everyone. Yeah. Timer is a good opportunity for a challenge. You would never play a Souls game if you only play games to relax. Good point as well, but in the Souls games you can of course take the time to get good, or you're not punished for not beating the boss under a certain time limit. So yeah, you feel like you can take it at your own pace, and I think that might be an issue with this Far Cry game if you are punished for fishing. And then you get like a message, yo, your sister died. And then you're like, yeah, but what? I love fishing in this. I love hunting. I wanted to go for that trophy, and I'm punished for doing so. That doesn't feel great. Which game will... okay, that's a different type of question. A lot of people don't play Souls games. That's totally true. And like the Ubisoft games in particular have been more this mainstream appeal that it is for everyone. Or yeah, I do think people kind of tend to play those games more as sort of a relaxing experience versus the Souls games. But yeah, I totally thought that was an interesting topic, and thanks for all the input as always. Let's move on to something else because we still got some fun things to go over here. I wanted to do the analyst one. I'm like kind of curious what they have to say, and we will see if it's fun or not. Whoop. As long as we can pet a shark or something, I'm good. I mean, they have to do new animals, obviously. That has been like a huge success, but in Far Cry 6, they were still promoting that as a new feature, while Far Cry New Dawn and 5 had it as well. So it should just be like an extra that we expect now from these games, and not something that they put a huge focus on. Okay. GamesIndustry.biz, one of the best gaming websites on the web, in my opinion, yearly has like this article where they ask analysts who like work for companies that have a lot of data about the gaming industry what they think will happen in the new year. I will leave a link to it in the video description if you are curious. I want to highlight some of the things that I think are interesting. So the title reads, Switch 2 finally, GTA 6 to dominate, AI in game dev again, analyst predictions for 2025. So they first kind of go over if they had like, here, nostalgia takes the key role in live service titles, spot on. Basically, they were like going over their 2024 predictions if they were right. And now we move on to 2025. Grand Theft Auto 6, scheduled for a fall 2025 release, is poised to reshape the gaming industry, much like its predecessor GTA 5, which shattered records with 32.5 million units sold in the first year. I want to know your prediction in the chat or in the comments. What do you think GTA 6 will sell in the first 12 months in terms of units sold? Think about it, put it in the comments, and I will say my prediction in a moment here. While the market landscape has evolved, Rockstar's legacy of delivering groundbreaking experiences ensures that GTA 6 will leave a lasting mark. When GTA 5 launched in 2013, it capitalized on the late life cycle of PS3 and Xbox 360, leveraging a fast and mature audience. GTA 6, by contrast, will arrive earlier in the PS5 Xbox Series XS life cycle, facing a smaller but rapidly growing install base. However, the enduring success of GTA Online with millions of active players have kept the franchise at the forefront of gaming, driving extraordinary anticipation for GTA 6. Rockstar's history of crafting genre-defining titles positions GTA 6 to set new industry standards, yet its challenges lie in navigating a gaming world increasingly dominated by live service titles. How Rockstar adapts the GTA or the Grand Theft Auto formula to this evolving landscape will not only determine GTA 6's success, but also redefine the future of open world games. I don't think they should worry about live service titles, to be honest. They might like use that. I think Fortnite would be happy to have the two main characters from GTA 6 as like skins, and that will push people to check that out. Like, what we're seeing a lot is that if there's a huge game, that like a big new game, people will leave their live service games at least for a moment to check it out because it's the talk of the town. Every social media is full of it, and GTA 6 will be like that. So I don't think they should worry about a new Fortnite update. I think Fortnite should worry that they don't drop like a new season around GTA 6. That would be stupid. So yeah, Switch 2 may struggle to outperform their predecessor. Okay, I can see that. We already went over the Ubisoft stuff in a previous video, so check that out. We'll leave a link to it in the video description. Fortnite is not that interesting. Weakening of large live service titles outside of Fortnite and Minecraft. Several factors are influencing the market landscape. As noted earlier, Fortnite continues to expand its growth and maintain its dominance. Meanwhile, Roblox is experiencing growth not only on the mobile platforms, but also on PC and consoles. On the other hand, some games are facing challenges in attracting new players. For competitive titles like MOBAs, a high skill barrier can deter newcomers, while in other cases, expansive storylines and increasingly complex mechanics may discourage players from starting. Additionally, 2025 is shaping up to be a standout year for new game releases. This influx of fresh titles will likely divert time and engagement away from many existing live service games. So in summary, 2025 appears to be ushering in a convergence of trends that could pose significant challenges for many traditional live service games. So basically, the games that are already big will probably remain big, but other titles will have a hard time maintaining. Like that's what I think EA said that recently with Apex Legends. If there's a big new shooter on the market, people will check it out. Or when Helldivers 2 came out, people left Destiny or something to play that new PvE game. And with the new Helldivers update, of course, as well. Path of Exile 2 took also players away from Destiny. That's kind of what happens, and they expect that more of that will happen in 2025. We will not see a successful new free-to-play multiplayer shooter launch in 2025. Looking over the past few years of shooter launches, it is increasingly plain to see that the genre is beyond saturated, and that players are fixed to their franchise shooter of choice. While there may be blips on the radar that may ping every time a new one launches and players check the game out, these will ultimately fizzle out over the next year or two without any additional fanfare. Basically, what happened with X-Defiant? They're saying Call of Duty, Battlefield will be back maybe next year. There's no room for new stuff next to Overwatch. Although Marvel Rivals did do pretty well. That would be counted here. I'm not sure. I don't believe this. We can totally see something that could be as popular as Marvel Rivals. Although Marvel Rivals is still in the honeymoon period as well. We will have to wait and see if they are actually able to sustain that. Xbox will open all floodgates and go all in on PS5. I'm aware that Microsoft has already become somewhat open to releasing Xbox games on other platforms, but 2025 might be the year where they go all in. The $69 billion Activision Blizzard deal, rising costs across the board, the power of forever titles, the huge lead of Sony, and other factors will likely leave Microsoft no choice but to bring all their games to PS5 early, including blockbusters such as Gears of War, 8A, and Perfect Dark. I think this is totally gonna happen. We are already kind of seeing that with... it seems like more and more Xbox games that are announced now, more of them are coming to PS5 day one than not. Only some older titles like Starfield, Avowed. Or obviously it's still launched on Xbox first. We will see. But yeah, this seems to be how they want to approach it. They want the money. They want the few million that they can sell on PlayStation. Instant gaming will have its big moment. Instant gaming silently amassed a vast audience over time, but I believe 2025 will be the true breakout year in the West. The idea of not having to install apps and being able to play across basically the social is not that interesting to me. Here we have one other person saying Nintendo will not have enough consoles to sell. Despite Nintendo's pledge and best efforts, the new device will sell out very quickly and not be available for months in 2025. It will be even worse than 2017 when the Switch launched. Furthermore, the name will be switched to. I also expect deep price cuts for the original Switch in 2025. So he's expecting a lot from the Switch 2, and it makes sense. If they have a new Mario Kart, if they can really show people why it is actually going to be a huge upgrade from the regular Switch. Portable gaming skyrockets. Nintendo will release its Switch 2 in 2025, and we should expect to see a new Mario Kart and a Super Mario title during the launch window. This console will sell well, driving game-selected hardware and console revenue in 2025. However, this is just the beginning of portable gaming's ongoing tailwind. The attention economy is oversaturated, and Nintendo was screwed to release a hybrid handheld that allows both at-home play on the TV and portable play. Similarly, companion portables like the Steam Deck complement a gamer's main platform, a gaming PC in this case. Companion portables give players... I've never heard the word companion portables, but sure. Give players more opportunities to engage with their ecosystem of choice and more opportunities for games to grow their share of the attention economy. Sure, the portable gaming will skyrocket because of the Switch 2. But it feels like here he's saying the Xbox is working on a portable, Sony as well. Yeah, but they are still far away. Like, they are like 2 years away. So I don't think 2025 will be like the blowout year for this. Only because of the Switch 2. Without the Switch 2, it would just be another year. So, like, I need to see more. I need to see Xbox and PlayStation go ham with a portable as well in order to kind of make this a reality, I think. Let's see what else is, like, interesting here. China video game. So you really see the sort of like focus each person has, like in terms of their data. The overall market performance in 2025, I'm expecting continued slow growth in games content and service spend globally. Gone are the years of the 10 to 15% market growth driven by huge sales in mobile and gaming spend. With that fuel seemingly burned for at least the next few years, the market is in a slow growth era. However, to put this in a more positive context, total global market size is expected to be similar to the historical market peak from 2021, where consumption was heavily driven by the impact of the pandemic. That would be actually huge if we go back to that, because obviously with COVID, way more people started playing games, and after that it's kind of gone down. And yeah, we have been going up since, but it was rough, of course, with the many layoffs, because people were kind of over ambitious with what the pandemic meant for for when the world would go back to normal, which obviously did not happen. The console market is set to grow marginally with the Switch 2 launch, currently expected in Q2 for $400 and €400, and GTA 6 releasing. Like, a lot of this is based on GTA 6 releasing, but it might be delayed, of course. US import tariffs are a dark cloud on the horizon, but I'm going to possibly predict that the console hardware is once again made except from these import charges. Of course, if you don't know, this could mean that the consoles get way more expensive, but let's hope that that will not happen. GTA 6 will be the largest entertainment release of all time in terms of revenue generated in the launch month, such as the size of a new GTA. If it is delayed to 2026, the console market performance will probably be down, even without the potential impact of the tariffs. GTA Online will continue for gamers that play on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, meaning a fractured GTA user base for Rockstar to deal with. Okay, so they think that that Rockstar will keep supporting GTA Online on PS4, Xbox One, and PC after the new GTA Online releases. I mean, there's probably like a significant audience still on those platforms, so I could see it happen, but we will have to wait and see. But yeah, I think GTA 6, in the first year, we had like 32.5 million, right? For GTA 5 in the first year. GTA 5 now sold 210 million. I'm gonna say GTA 6 at 50 million at the end of the year. Let's see what other people say. Big Blues, we had 70 plus million. 69 million, nice Amaya. GTA 6 will sell 20 million in 24 hours. Maybe 60 million in a year. 43 million, says Go Geta. That is crazy. That sure is crazy. But yeah, maybe with my 50, I'm a bit at the low side. But yeah, if you think about it, like GTA 5 was big, but GTA 6 will probably be way bigger because there are way more people playing games as well, compared to back in 2013 to 2014. But yeah, not all people have a PS5 or Xbox Series. Like, we have to think about that as well. If you think about the PS5, like, they have sold like 60 million, and the Xbox is like 30 million. The Xbox Series. So there are only 90 million people that can buy the game. And some people have an Xbox and a PS5, like me. So, that like, it's not gonna launch on PC. So I think 50 million is... That's like an insane, if you think about it. Then almost everyone who owns a PS5 will have GTA 6. Or like half of the people that own a PS5 will have GTA 6. If you think about it that way, that's kind of crazy. But still, GTA 5 selling 32.5 million on PS3 and Xbox One or 360. Was the PS4 and Xbox One version already out? I think it launched like 1 year later, right? I'm going with the 50 million. I think 50 million is a safe bet if you think about the install base. Obviously, a lot of new people will join and like buy a console just for the game. But yeah. Yeah, we of course again went over Ubisoft already. Content trends. I think we will see a deeper focus on remakes and sequels as publishers stay risk averse when it comes to investment. A new wave of extraction shooters is expected in 2025. We got like Marathon. The Far Cry game is then delayed to 2026. But I don't know, like Fair Games, Arc Raiders. There are like again those like when Tarkov was kind of a thing, all those teams were like, oh, we're gonna make it as well. And now a few years later, they finally are ready to come to market, which is crazy. But I don't think there's enough demand to support multiple new entrants. No, I agree. Unfortunately, that will result in some big budget failures. Yes. Publishers will continue to aggressively look at ways to drive more value from their existing game IP and franchises. That means more cross-game licensing, brand partnerships, cross-media licensing, sponsorships, and advertisement in and around their games. And that's, for example, what Ubisoft has been doing. Like, sometimes a mobile game has Assassin's Creed characters. I mean, not only Ubisoft is doing it, but many companies are, like, lending their IP to a live service game, for example, to have some sort of cross-promotion. Like, Fortnite, of course, does it all the time. The Cyberpunk characters are now in that game, and I'm sure that CDPR makes some money off that. While it's of course another way to promote Cyberpunk as well, because a lot of people only play Fortnite and then they're like, who is this like silver hand character? Oh, it's from Cyberpunk. Oh, that actually looks cool. Let's give it a shot. Web3 games will probably have a decent resurgence due to coin prices, so I expect to see more releases and investment again in that area. No need. Black Myth Wukong's success will prompt more investment into these sort of single-player games and will drive all Chinese publishers and developers to consider the global appeal of their upcoming games. And yes, like, it's actually, if you think about it, kind of crazy that Assassin's Creed Jade is a mobile game, because after Black Myth Wukong's success, if they had like a Chinese AAA console quality game ready, that could be huge. And if they like go into the mythology and all that sort of stuff as well, that would actually be really big, because that's of course why Black Myth Wukong sold so well, because it really spoke to that Chinese audience. And of course they were kind of proud of it being a Chinese game as well, so I don't think Western developers will see the same success. Of course their game has to be approved to release in China too, but yeah, there will be some Western teams and studios probably do something to make the game more appealing to the Chinese audience, because it really seems that we in the West don't really care if it's like set in a Chinese setting, but they in China love that in particular, which has been the case for why Wukong did so well. Unexpected twists and turns. There are things that are inherently hard to predict, such as Payday being deeply integrated into PUBG, which seems like an off-the-wall collaboration. I think the hunt for engagement and player attention in a difficult market backdrop will mean more unexpected collaborations and partnerships, where companies are pushed to get more creative and ambitious to carve out a space in the market. This would be kind of a weird prediction to say, like, come next year around this time. Oh, that was correct. Oh, there were a lot of cross promotions. I don't know. But I think always interesting to look at these predictions and kind of go over it. So, of course, if you like that, leave a like, subscribe, and I will speak to you soon. I'm reading now Happy Gamer from gamesindustry.biz. I can show you the article. It's like they do it every year. I think it's super interesting. GTA on Xbox Series S. Let's fucking go. I mean, yeah, it's gonna happen, and it probably will run well. I don't know. I'm afraid. I'm afraid that it will not be like 720p or something. In my opinion, people will just buy a console to play GTA. Oh, it's 100%. All my friends already say that if pre-orders are open for GTA 6, they will get it. Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, in my opinion, people will buy consoles just to play GTA 6 for sure. So it's like super lucrative for Sony and Microsoft that it's not coming to PC day one, because people will double dip and they will not wait a year or a few months. Maybe they will launch it on PC sooner than what they did for GTA 5. But yeah, people don't want to wait. And that's gonna be a steep sort of barrier to entry, unless if Microsoft can get this on xCloud or Sony through streaming as well. And I mean, Microsoft is way better positioned for that. But if Microsoft can say you only need, I mean, they can't put it on Game Pass obviously, but maybe they can like have xCloud support for it, and they're like, yeah, you only need to buy the game, and they can stream it to your phone, your tablet, etc. That could be huge for them. That would mean for people that normally would have to buy a console, that they can just buy the game on the Xbox store and then stream it to even their PC. But maybe that's the reason why Rockstar does not want that. I do think they want people to just buy the native PC version. So maybe that's why they will block that. But yeah, if Microsoft can have a deal like that, that would be huge. But I'm not expecting it overall. Yeah, Stadia will be back, Robo Wizzo, just for GTA. They're like, we're back, baby. We're just one platform for GTA. Okay, so I got some Shadows 2024 info to go over, which is going to be interesting. But first, I want to go over something more fun. Because I want to talk with you about this. The Game Awards, of course, happened. We saw many great reveals, but some were also missing in action. Titles that were revealed, like this one, at the Game Awards in 2021. And where are they now? We're 3 years later. You would hope that we finally see like the Wonder Woman game in action, right? And usually when games get revealed at Game Awards, they show up there again. Could still be the case for Wonder Woman, but then it might be next year, because we actually do have some information. So in this video, I want to go over all those missing titles and kind of give you updates on what is going on and when I think they will drop. Of course, if you missed a particular game, like Silk Song, although we just... is it ever gonna happen? I don't know. But, like, let me know in the comments, of course, or in the chat. So, yeah, we actually had some updates, I hope, on Wonder Woman here from Jason Schreier just before the show. Basically saying that, according to a reputable Bloomberg journalist, Jason Schreier, on his podcast, Triple Click, a source on the game noted that Wonder Woman was tentatively... So according to a reputable Bloomberg journalist, Jason Schreier, on his podcast Triple Click, a source on the game noted that Wonder Woman was scheduled for 2026, for a 2026 release, but that seemed unrealistic to a source. What? And like we even have like this story as well. Basically here, Jason Schreier mentioned that at the time of the reveal, so again, 2021 Game Awards, they did not have any part of the game actively being worked on yet, and that it was apparently nothing. But he then later clarified that it was not nothing, but basically when that game was revealed, so when they dropped this trailer, again, we're looking at December 2021, there was nothing for this game yet. It was basically just this logo. And we, of course, since then have seen some very cool concept art that I don't think I can show you here because Warner will then claim the video, but you can look for it. Wonder Woman game, Google Images. I do think you will see it there. But yeah, this game felt so close because it's Monolith Productions. What was their last game? Shadow of War 2017. That's crazy. But yeah, seemingly they had some trouble and they only started working on this in 2021. So don't hold your breath for Wonder Woman. It could even like not show up next year. If they think 2026 is like hard, not good, not good. Okay, moving on. Hogwarts Legacy Definitive Edition is in development. This was a rumor from Tom Henderson. Details on when the edition or DLC will be released and its price are still in flux. Still, some sources have suggested that it could be released in 2025 to bolster Warner Bros. Gaming's diminishing revenue. Basically, what they say is that this Definitive Edition is set to have around 10 to 15 hours of additional content with new story, quests, side quest activities, and outfits. So it's basically going to be similar to the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut that of course had the PS5 improvements, but also the Icky Island DLC that was also like 10 to 15 hours with some fun new content. But yeah, that released 1 year after Ghost of Tsushima. We will be nearing the 2-year anniversary of Hogwarts Legacy in February 2025. So very, very close to that. That would be, I think, the perfect time to have a DLC, but seems like they're gonna wait even longer. Like Elden Ring was similar. That came out 2022, and of course we got the DLC 2.5 years later. So that already felt kind of late, but that's still, yeah, something we could see. But yeah, all I want to say is that also Bloomberg said that the Hogwarts Legacy DLC was happening. I thought they're gonna announce it at the Game Awards, release it at the 2-year anniversary. Maybe at the 2-year anniversary, so in February they will be like, hey, we have something on the horizon, look forward to blah, blah, blah. Maybe there will be a state of play in January, where they will finally reveal it. Of course, Hogwarts Legacy has been marketed as like a PlayStation title, while obviously it's out on every platform. And they did do like a free upgrade, or like not a free upgrade, but they released an upgrade from the PS4 version to the PS5, or the Xbox to the One to the Xbox Series, for I think like $10. So some people are speculating that this DLC might be current gen only, which I think would be very exciting. Maybe they're waiting for the Switch 2 reveal because it did very well on the Switch, Hogwarts Legacy. So maybe it will be at the Switch 2 reveal event. Again, it's gonna happen. It's just like when. But this is interesting as well. Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy sequel from Warner Bros. Games is one of the biggest priorities. So usually you are making a DLC, and after that, there's like a small team maybe already working on the sequel. But yeah, you're focused on the DLC, and then after the DLC is out, you got that big DLC team to work on the sequel as well. So the longer they wait with releasing this DLC, the longer they have this sort of group of developers work on content for the old game, while maybe it would be smarter to have them focus on the sequel that obviously will be way bigger. So again, we had the rumors about this Definitive Edition for a long time. It was recently as well. Maybe they at one point were like, maybe we can better put this content in the sequel. Although the sequel might have a completely different setting, like jump 100 years. So if they were making a story with Sebastian, where we like visit him in Azkaban or something, obviously that would not be something they can put in the sequel. So interesting stuff. But yeah, we are at one point, I think in 2025, going to hear about the DLC. But I thought at the Game Awards, obviously that did not happen. I've seen, I should say, a lot of questions and thoughts about Judas. Of course, the new game from Ken Levine, the BioShock creator. This is his first game since BioShock Infinite that launched in 2013, and it looks awesome. It looks a lot like BioShock, especially this scene. But yeah, where is it? It was, I think, at the Game Awards. Was this trailer at the Game Awards? Let's see. Yeah, this was like announced at the Game Awards in 2022, so 2 years ago. And Jeff Keighley said, "Oh, it's like exciting." He then later went on to play it as well, but we then skipped Game Awards 2013, and then we got the story trailer for the game. Actually, at the State of Play in January. So Sony did the State of Play in January, where they also had like here January 31. 31st, like they skipped Game Awards with this game, but they put it in the State of Play. So I am of the mind that that could happen again. And there are people saying, yo, it's probably going to launch in 2025. I really think that we should not expect this game in 2025 for multiple reasons. Maybe it might be ready. It was like they had this in March of 2024. They had this preview. IGN did it. Skill Up and the people from the Friends Per Second podcast got to play it as well. And that was more like a sort of check-in, see if people like it. People were very excited about it. Again, I think it looks awesome as well. So they use some like roguelike elements. So every time you die, the levels are a bit different. And obviously the narrative is probably going to be crazy and have a lot of fun twists and turns. But the whole idea is that basically our experience should be different, because I see things happen in different locations than you. It's not really scripted. And I think that could be very exciting. But yeah, this game is ambitious. It's Ken Levine. He's never happy. He got an unlimited amount of money, at least. That's what it feels like. So we have 2K. They're the publisher. They have Borderlands, Mafia, and Civilization in 2025. They don't need this game. So I really think they're gonna give him the time to like launch this in early 2026. I think that's also a way smarter period for this game. But I hope to see it soon. I think it could be really, really cool. But yeah, it was not at the Game Awards. So I think it's still a bit later than we expect. Although it looks already like pretty done. Like it all, like they showed a lot of stuff. It looked really, really cool. I love these horse enemies. Yeah, they still have like the magic abilities from BioShock. So you can like also hack hack robots now, which is cool, and then they can like help you out and stuff. Again, I think this game could be really, really awesome, but it was not at the Game Awards, probably meaning that it will be a while before we see it. Also, I think I got this, for example. This is from November 2024, and we see Judas here with TBA. While other games like GTA 6 still has the launching calendar, fall of calendar 2025, like they have not put a date on this. I know some people have said, yeah, they said 2025. They did not. Maybe like 2 years ago or something. Now, another game that I kind of wanted to see at the Game Awards, because I just want to see it. I want to feel it. And I'm going to actually look at another photo here. Let's see if I can like bring it up. Yeah, let's do it like this. It's this Horizon Online. We know that they've been like looking for an intern to basically QA test the game for a release. So they're like they were looking for a release QA intern to test the game in the first half of 2025 and make it ready for release. So this game has been in development for almost 8 years now. I think more than 7 years. So obviously things have changed probably. But it's going to be a Monster Hunter style Horizon game with a stylized graphical setting, which still makes me worried. I mean, this is an old leaked image from 2021. Things have hopefully changed, but I do hope that when we see it, it will look cool enough to us. I really think they could not have this game with the graphics of the regular Horizon because it's multiplayer. But yeah, that could really go either way. People already like to be critical of the Horizon franchise, let's put it that way. So giving them ammunition by showcasing an art style that looks a lot like Fortnite is not gonna help. But this is like a huge game. Like, there are so many people working on this at Guerrilla Games. Of course, Sony wants to have a big live service game next to Helldivers. Concord, of course, was a major flop. So, and that game already cost like more than 200 million. Like, this game, easily more than 200 million. I'm holding my fingers crossed for it. I want this to succeed, and I hope it's fun. Like, I do think it will likely be really good. I just hope they can like convince people to get it. And like they have like a studio creative director marketing. They're looking for that right now, who is like is responsible for creative vision of exceptional marketing and licensing opportunities across our Horizon franchise. So they're looking for this person now because they have big plans in 2025 for Horizon and this online game. But here also a senior stylized visual effect artist. I will do a cool... I'm already saying that it's cool because I think it will be cool. I think you will like it. Predictions video where I will share my 2025 predictions for the year. Again, I love predictions, as you might know. And yeah, one of the predictions will be about Horizon Online. And I will have other predictions. So, of course, if you have any predictions, let me know in the comments down below or in the chat. And of course, what games do you hope to see at future State of Plays? I think we will get a State of Play in January or maybe February. Like last year, Sony kind of keeps the same pace. And Xbox will have a developer direct, seemingly in January as well. So that's very exciting too. And yeah, I think it will be cool to see what happens there. But these were the games that I kind of missed, that I expected at the Game Awards, that were not there. Goodbye. Horizon Online GTA 6. Oh, Samaya. You're probably trolling, but I'm not sure. Shadow Drop, my prediction: Horizon Online will launch a week after Monster Hunter World to put a classic Sony. I mean, we know there's an Elden Ring co-op game, of course, coming, and Horizon Forbidden West launched 1 week before the Elden Ring co-op game. Like, they can't catch a break. That launch, the release date. What I hope for Horizon Online is that they will do a beta first. That they will have a free beta, similar to Concord, and then not have a release directly after. That's not like a demo. That it's more like a, yo, this is the game. Test it, please. We will use that feedback. Go into the dark again. Yeah, get the game ready with that feedback and then launch it, so that they really take their time. But again, this game has been in development for so long. It's holding, I don't want to say developers hostage, but in a way it is. Like, I do think they want to work on it. Hostage is not the right word, but like, by them working on the online game, they're not working on Horizon 3. So the longer they work on this, and they of course want to get it right, like they're using all their like resources and stuff, they really want to get this online game right. But the longer they wait with launching it, obviously they will have a huge live plan, but the moment it's out, a lot of developers will focus on Horizon 3. And that game will totally sell 10 million, like easily. So maybe at one point it's smarter, because the chance that Horizon Online will flop is, pains me to say, it's higher than the chance that it will be a success. Will Santa Monica release something in 2025? I hope so. I'm still of the mind that they will do a smaller God of War Atreus focused thing. That just seems weird if they are skipping that. Like, we need some sort of closure for Atreus before we move on to the next God of War. I hope that they do it. I still think they will, but that will probably be it's announced and it releases like a few months later. But it's not confirmed. I think I would not put money on it, but I would not be surprised. But I've been saying this for a long time and it has not happened. So we will see. A smaller Spider-Man after the DLC cancellation. Yeah, like they will probably put that in the Venom game that has been rumored heavily. They should give the biggest priority to the Batman Arkham Beyond instead of Hogwarts Legacy if they want to make money soon. No, you're not right there. Hogwarts Legacy is bigger than Batman. Hogwarts Legacy sold almost 30 million units now. And they're of course going to do the TV show. Like Harry Potter without any current media is insanely popular. What if they make new stuff in that franchise? So yeah, it's gonna be like it's smart for them to put a lot of money and investment into Hogwarts Legacy. Mr. Meme says GTA 6 trailer 2 in December 27th. No, I don't believe that rumor. There are some people that are just crazy and speculating about when the next trailer will drop. But if I were Rockstar, I would be like, yo, everyone has Christmas break. Go be with your family. We'll see you in the new year. Like if they 27th of December. Let's look at it. That's the Friday. You don't want to release something after Christmas of this caliber. And like they are not like dropping the trailer and hands off. No, they will drop the trailer and like collect a lot of data, have people. It's in no one's best interest to drop this on December 27th. Only like eagerly anticipated fans want it. It's not like they wanted a work-life balance. It's not smart to drop a new trailer on Friday and then have people work over the weekend after. No, they're not doing that after Christmas. Like, no. Get it out of your head. Okay. Last but not least is the following. We got some Assassin's Creed Shadows updates. So let's take a look at it. Let's go over it. And that's pretty exciting. For sure. Let's see. What we got right. Yeah. To end the year, we had some new Assassin's Creed Shadows content to kind of tease us for a big 2025. So I want to give you a rundown for if you missed it and kind of share my take, of course, on everything and reaction. So let's watch the teaser they dropped for the story trailer, it seems. There was a lot in this, and it's like boom, 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 boom. It's like 5 seconds. It's 7 seconds. That's crazy. And like 2 seconds is the end screen. Of course, here we see Naoe's father give her the hidden blade. I love the design, and she's like, "Yeah, okay, what's this?" Here, I think, and this like early in the game, like her province, the Iga province is of course getting infiltrated, by Oda Nobunaga, and with his army, they want to get rid of everyone who lives there, burn everything, and then probably Naoe meets her father just before he goes and do something that probably gets him killed, I think. And that's probably what like kind of drives her at the start of the game. But first he gives her the hidden blade. And I think this, like, Yasuke, like, we know Yasuke, of course, arrives in Japan at the start of the game, but something on his ship probably goes wrong, and then he ends on the beach. Anna died on the beach. Oh, wrong game. But yeah, we see Yasuke, I think, arrive in Japan here. If we then move on, we see Oda Nobunaga, of course, with his cool blades. Is this Yasuke, or is this Naue who's like there, or maybe it's someone else? But this is an interesting scene. I think this is like probably later in the game, but yeah, we don't really know what's happening here. But it's like in the dark. It might be his confrontation with him. Of course, Naue wants revenge for for the sort of things that he has been doing at the start, where he's infiltrating the Iga province and kind of destroying everything. So it might be her, but it could also be someone else. It could also be Yasuke. Let me know in the comments or chat if you think who it is. But yeah, this is obviously Naue using the hidden blade to open an awesome tomb. And this is awesome. We actually had this in Revelations, for example, as well. If we go here, we see Ezio walk up to it, use the hidden blade, bam, and then open the tomb. This was the Vlad the Impaler prison, and actually by completing the sort of parkour things here, you got like a new item. So it might be like an optional thing for Naue that we can just find in the world. That would be awesome. And then there's some like assassin gear or something hidden behind it, or something else. But it could also be part of the main story as she kind of tries to discover who the assassins are and what they're all about, as she kind of figures out what she wants to do with her life. Could totally be that. What are we seeing here? It's like some interesting soldiers approaching this Yasuke. Is she like captured here or something? Feels like her hands are like tied, right? Maybe Yasuke is like looking at Naue like, should I help you or not? Or maybe this like early in the game where they meet for the first time and he's like, what have I done? And she's like, oh, are you gonna help me or not? I don't know. It is interesting. And then, of course, we see the Templar necklace. Of course, this game will have the Templars versus the Assassins again. No more Order of the Ancients, because we're beyond that. Of course, they were established kind of with Valhalla. And then, now we're 800 years later in Shadows. So it will be very interesting to see. But if we like meet a character who has these belts around there, like, and then we don't see the necklace like early on, we already kind of know the tease for who this might be and turn out to be. But that is, of course, cool to see. Like, I also posted a comment here under this teaser saying there's so much we still don't know, and this teaser only proves that more. Where they've been like really kind of avoiding the Assassin-Templar conflict in the marketing so far. But of course, they are now teasing that, it's of course a huge part of everything that is happening. And maybe the story of Yasuke and Naue doesn't start that way, but it will turn into, the conflict that we all love to experience. So I'm kind of down. Can't wait for that. We also have this, which is the, let's see, Leap of Faith logo animation 2024. Let's have a watch. So this really feels like the Marvel Studios and PlayStation Studios has been doing it. Of course, other companies have been doing it more and more, where you boot up a game or something for the first time, and then, or watch a movie for the first time, or like at the start of the movie, you see this, and it's kind of cool that it's like in chronological order. And we see that like even Evelyn is there as the FIDA with the FIDA game Liberation, of course. So that's kind of cool. We are missing. I mean, they're of course only focused on. I was like, where's Rogue? But they're of course only focused on the assassins here. And we see like the canon characters too, with Cassandra and female A4, Basim, Nawe. We of course know Yasuke won't be an assassin. Then we see Altair. Nice, awesome. So yeah, I like we see some comments here. Is this the intro we see every time we boot up the Animus Hub? I hope not, because that's pretty long. I think the whole thing is with the next-gen consoles that we load into the game fast. I think this is probably something, like they've been pretty good about it, where only the first time you boot up a game or after an update you actually get the sort of animation. So I think that will probably be the case here. Of course, we got some crappy comments as well with people that, I don't know, have to maybe look for a hobby or something. Damn, the Assassin's videos are driving down almost as Ubisoft stock and market value. Yeah, funny. But yeah, that is that. Again, like people are still curious about the stock, or of course people are still curious about the Animus Hub, and we had actually during the AMA, there will be a limited modern day story in Shadows that will introduce a broader modern day narrative in the Animus Hub. We will share more on this later. So, seems like we will learn more about the Animus Hub that will launch on February 14th with Shadows before release. And yeah, right now the sort of rumblings we heard is Battle Pass and stuff, but I hope they can explain us what the vision is behind this launcher that will likely be similar to Call of Duty HQ. We also had this article, Entertainment Weekly got the exclusive backstory to the game's new ninja, the fastest assassin we've ever made. Exclusive. So basically, we got like an intro here. Nawe is the fastest assassin we ever made, said Jonathan Dumont, the creative director on Shadows, tells Entertainment Weekly. She runs super fast. She has a lot of gadgets to keep her stealth so that she doesn't have to fight often. I'll be fighting a lot with Nawe. I'll be fighting a lot, and I will show everyone how OP she can be when fighting. We wanted to satisfy that for players that come in for that ninja assassin game. Anime fans will even be able to pull off their own Naruto run. Leaning forward, arms. So yeah, that is of course this. This is crazy, by the way. So yeah, now we will have something like this, and of course, this is like. So that's pretty funny. We do have a run on top of buildings that has a little bit of a wink to it, Dumont hints. Interesting, we got like a new image of Nawe jumping off a viewpoint. And I would not be surprised that this is like a photo mode shot they made with like a cool red filter that you can select. So they will actually be updating the photo mode and changing it, while of course the Origins photo mode we had was in Odyssey and Valhalla and Mirage. It was like the same photo mode. The creatives give exclusive insights into Nao's backstory in the game, which is set against the backdrop of feudal Japan, specifically the Sengoku period. Naoe hails from the Iga province, a rural, remote locale in the middle of the country that also plays into the origins of the shinobi or ninjas. While the narrative of Yasuke introduces players to the nobility of this era, Dumont says the creative team wanted to show the opposite with Naoe, the day-to-day, relatable, hard-working farm hands. So basically, it says Shadows plays out through the dueling perspective of both Yasuke and Naoe. Their stories start to collide in 1579, the year that the son of feudal lord Oda Nobunaga, Yasuke The year that the son of feudal lord Oda Nobunaga, Yasuke serves, tries to, and fails. Okay, so basically, again, the son of Oda Nobunaga is in charge of the invasion of the Iga province, but they try and fail. Naoe was shielded by her father from what's happening in the world, and it comes crashing down, Demond explained. She's pushed into war. She doesn't know how much about her origin. Her father has been training her, but she doesn't know much about her mother, who has been gone. That, of course, gives a ton of opportunities for like a fun secret that we will probably figure out. She is probably like an important character that we will meet later down the line. That would be my prediction. But as a cool proverb from Japan says, a frog in the well knows nothing of the sea. That's, of course, one of the lines we hear in the cinematic trailer as well. I think Yasuke says it. She's tossed into the real world, and through that, she will learn that she's not just a shinobi, that there is a little bit of lineage, or at least some mystery about some sort of different type of shinobi. They are assassins. So she is somewhat linked to that. So I would not be surprised if the her like finding the hidden tomb actually is more story related. That she, by entering these tombs, figures out more about the assassins and her role in all this. Demond declines to go further into detail to preserve some of the story points, but he teases how, as she learns more about what it means to be part of the world of assassins, she will have to navigate Japan in the midst of war. She will start a bit of a path of vengeance, or fulfilling a promise that she made to her family. Again, I think she will, go on a sort of killing spree to avenge her father. As she discovers over a world in need, she begins to really value the community, values her father. She begins to really value the community values her father taught. Can she make a better world? She realizes they are people who cannot defend themselves, which is tied to a little bit more, tied a little bit more to the models of the Assassin Brotherhood. We got another new image here with Naoe. She looks really, really good. And this is a child. We have the name here in a moment. But these cutscenes look amazing. Really, really cool. As seen in the Entertainment Weekly exclusive image from Shadow, a kid by the name of Junjiro, and I hope I pronounce it right, becomes a focal point. He is the future Naoe hopes Japan will be. Naoe's storyline is very much entangled in the character's skill set, which involves a grapple hook that allows her to swiftly scale tall structures, kunai and smoke bomb that allow her to distract targets, and a hidden blade, the signature weapon of an assassin she can use to take out her targets. Each item is linked to an element from her backstory. Oh, that's cool. Specifically, the survival skills imparted by her father. The hidden blade is given by her father, and we're going to learn a little bit more about what that means, Demond says. Altogether, she does feel like a panther looking for her prey. But yeah, in early development, they wanted to do Yasuke. He's a more capable warrior, blah, blah. Oh, that's pretty interesting. But while Naoe can gracefully sleek through in shadows, Yasuke has difficulty performing a signature Assassin's Creed move, the Leap of Faith. Jumping from a great height to land safely in a bale of hay, a pile of flowers, or some other... I've never seen this word before. Kushi. Wow. Google Translate, help me out.
Cushioning.
Cushioning. Of course, like soft sort of thing. Yeah, I get it. But while Naoe can gracefully sleek through in shadow, Yasuke has difficulty performing a signature assassin move, the Leap of Faith, jumping from a great height to land safely in a bale of hay, a pile of flowers, or some other cushioning agent. He doesn't do the Leap of Faith, Demond reveals. He just crashes right into the haystack, and he hurts his butt too. So that's pretty funny. So, of course, we saw that animation already in the first Death Diary, which was kind of awesome, but seems like we will still be able to climb buildings, jump off, and not have any fall damage. But yeah, he will obviously not do the leap of faith. So it will... again, no fall damage. I think maybe it will actually damage him a lot. A bit. That would be funny. But yeah, jokes aside, the team wanted to satisfy the two main types. We have fans for more than 15 years of Assassin's Creed. A lot of people like Assassins at the start with the stealth approach, hiding in the shadows and the crowd. Then we have a little bit more of the action-oriented ones that liked Odyssey, Origins, and Valhalla. We tried to satisfy both types of players, but also try to not dilute too much of what they like about it. So that's actually, basically, as you might know, the reason why they went with two characters to have this really more traditional assassin character. But yeah, if you liked Eivor, Bayek, or Cassandra Alexios, who was more of a warrior, mostly, then, yeah, you can, of course, play Yasuke and have that sort of playstyle. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Then I want to look at this basically from the Ubisoft team on their Discord. On behalf of the entire Assassin's Creed team, we wish you a joyous holiday season. Thank you for joining us on the incredible journey. Expect some exciting AC Day celebrations this weekend. We already went over those, so that was the teaser and that Leap of Faith logo reveal, along with the release of our next Assassin's Creed Shadows articles in January. We can't wait to show you more. So basically, the exploration and parkour articles, similar to the combat and stealth articles and gameplay we already went over before here, they will be dropping in January. So no more new Shadows info. I will still have a lot of Shadows content, at least. I will still have some fun Shadows stuff in main videos on the channel with my thoughts and new info and stuff. So that'll be exciting, but yeah, from Ubisoft, we will not have anything new until probably early January, I would hope. Second week or something. That would be exciting. So yeah, of course, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me pre-order the game, Ubisoft, says RoboWizzo. Yeah, it's still wild that on the digital store you can pre-order. Do they not want money? Shadows is a huge game for them, and why can we not pre-order it on the PlayStation or Xbox store? I think they're losing out on some cash by not just opening that up. It doesn't make sense, but maybe they have a big plan and then open it up and then maybe have a trailer for the DLC that you get for free if you pre-order, and that's the push they want to do. Month and a half away. Hope it's good. Me too, Dan Woods. It will be there before you know it. Yor is one of the few people who covers Asia Shadows well. I appreciate that. Thanks, Maya. Appreciate you. Makarman says that screenshot looked very good. Hope the animations are also like that. I agree, Makarman. I mean, so far we've just really seen a lot of curated gameplay. I need to see an hour. Ubisoft is usually very good at play our game, publish everything if you want. I want them to be open like that for Shadows, because then we get a real idea of what this game is. Right now it's look at these trees falling from the tree and with the wind, and I don't know. That's cool, but I want to see what does it look like when I pick up the controller and play the game, please. I feel we will have an Assassin Direct in January, maybe. That would be crazy. I mean, they have a lot to talk about also with the Animus Hub. I do think it would be smart of them to publish a dedicated video or do a stream. Because I do think with the Animus Hub, you kind of want to tease the future as well. Because people will be like, why do I need a launcher for one game? If they can show, yeah, and that means that at the end of the year we have the Black Flag remake. That would not be maybe an exciting way to announce it, but they need to show more than just Shadows, I think, to have it work. 40-minute gameplay session. Oh, please. The Hidden Creed, yeah, you make a great point. It's just funny that a lot of people complain they opened the pre-orders very early. Now everyone is complaining that it's too late to open and stuff. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can't win. But it is weird. It is weird that people want to give them money and they're not able to while they need all the money they can get. So yeah, we've been going on for 2 hours, which is longer than I normally do, but hey, I had a lot of fun. We have a question here from Squareco. I am butchering your name, but appreciate you being here, of course. One last question. Sorry for the off topic. Sony said that no major first-party games will release until April. So what do you think? Will one exclusive release in April or May? No. I don't think so. It can still happen because they like to reveal release dates a few months ahead of time now. So it could totally be that we have a January state of play and then Death Stranding is in there and it has like a May date. So yeah, I totally think that can happen. But the April thing was just because of their investor call. Because their financial year starts in April, like their new one. They were basically saying, yo, don't expect it this financial year, and that ends in March, but in the next financial year. And that's a 12-month period. So they could like not launch something till the end of 2025, and it still made sense with what they said. They said, don't expect it before April, but not that we should expect it in April or May. It could be June, August. Yeah, Domus Meat, I do think they could like put the Animus Hub. I do think they will add the old games to the Animus Hub as well. For sure. But again, we'll have to wait and see how it works. It just being a launcher would not be exciting. There has to be more going on. To be fair, when they first opened pre-orders, they showed almost no gameplay. Yeah, that has been their tactic for the longest time now. Cinematic trailer, gameplay screenshots, open pre-order. Robo thank you for staying positive, covering gaming news, especially with Assassin's Creed. I mean, I do this because I love games, and I don't know why. Like, I sometimes have made some like negative videos in the past, and negatives like more like I don't want to like be positive when there's nothing to be positive about, obviously, but I don't think it's as bad as what some people are making it out to be. It's still games. It's still a hobby at the core. It's not like world altering or actually hurting people in real time. No. So I want to make games, streams, content about things that I'm passionate about. And of course, if Ubisoft makes a blunder, I will talk about it. But in essence, I'm still a fan of their games and of the series, and same for all the other games that we cover on the channel. So obviously, I will try to be enthusiastic because I'm actually excited about something. I prefer that way more than to make videos about things that don't excite me. And then people will say, oh, you're always positive, and I'm like, I mean, no, but of course I try to focus on the things that I actually like, because why would I want to make a video on something I really don't like? The only times I did it this year were for things that I think are worth to talk about. Like, I did not like Rise of the Ronin and Skull and Bones, and I made really negative videos on both of those games. But that was more like I know people are looking forward to this, or are I know there is some overlap with the audience. They want to hear my take, so obviously I will talk about it, but I will then not make 10 videos about the bugs or something in Rise of the Ronin. I made my review, and then I'm moving on to things I actually like. And I think that's way more fun. Blazing Flame. Appreciate you, though. You're better late than never. But hey, I will be posting all the things, all the topics I covered here as separate videos. So you can still watch them on the JorRaptor React channel, and you're already subscribed, so that's great. Thanks, everyone. I will be back next week with a stream like this. Of course, the Sunday video. At the end of the week, we'll cover some news as well. And I will have some other big gaming videos on the main channel, which I'm really excited about. One is looking forward to 2025, and I want to have another Assassin's Creed Shadows news video up this week as well, going over the roaming bosses, some AMA answers. There is still a lot to talk about regarding the Battle Pass situation. I want to include some like fun things regarding that. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to still this year. I hope you have an amazing Christmas if you're celebrating, and otherwise, or also an amazing end of the year. I will still speak to you directly like this in 2025 or in 2024 next week. That would be on the 30th. So that will be exciting. Then we will do another show like this. And if you have feedback, drop it in the comments under this stream so I can like easily read it. And thanks for all the input and for sticking around for this long stream. And then I will speak to you very, very soon. Thanks, Brock, of course, for joining as well as the moderator. And yeah, I hope you had a great